Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. Today is Monday, May 10th. Thanks for choosing to be here for your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. If you celebrate Mother's Day, I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to my mom, Ma Haney. I am very happy to say that I finally got to hug her on Sunday. She's finally fully vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated. I also got to hug my dad on Sunday. He's fully vaccinated after more than a year. So that was an incredible gift for me. So I hope that you all got to experience some joy with your family at a safe distance if that's what you need to still be doing right now. Now, taking a look at today. Today is finally the day that Al Roker is here, celebrating the city of Cleveland in the national spotlight. This is part of the Today Show's Reopening America series. So Al, who has sort of adopted Cleveland as a second hometown, is highlighting all the things happening here in Cleveland. So he was here in Cleveland today with our Go Morning Show team during the 6 o'clock hour and then did his part of the Today Show from here in Cleveland. Lots of great moments. Those are on WKYC.com. Just a couple of the things that happened today. Terminal Tower was lit up orange in honor of him being here. That's the Today Show's marquee color. Also, we got him his favorite treats from Tommy's in Cleveland, a grilled cheese pita and a milkshake. And he had a chance to talk with our teams here and the people here in Northeast Ohio about what's happening in Playhouse Square as live theater comes back to the area. That's just a handful of the things that we've got outlined on WKYC.com just from this morning. Another thing that happened this morning, our chief meteorologist Betsy Kling joined Al Roker live on the Today Show on national television to let him know that the tower, the radar tower above WKYC studios, that's now been named the Roker Tower in honor of Al Roker, who is, by the way, a WKYC alum. He worked here for 5 years, and he did that with Leon Bibb and several of the people who are still working here at the station. That's another thing that he did, by the way. He got to ride the RTA with Leon like they used to do back in the days when he was living and working here in Cleveland. Lots of very cool moments. You're going to want to check that out on WKYC.com. Also, you're going to want to check this out on WKYC.com. On Friday, there was a Budweiser truck that crashed into a house in Avon Lake, and these photos are just incredible. Now, people are okay. The driver of the Budweiser truck did go to the hospital with minor injuries. The one person who was in the home, not harmed, but that home, no longer livable, according to the police. If you take a look at the photos on WKYC.com, you can see the truck in the side of the home, and it looks like the bricks, it's a brick home, are just melting away alongside this truck. According to police, what happened was the truck was traveling north on Lear Road. It swerved to miss a car that was traveling east on Electric Boulevard that went through the intersection. You can see those photos on WKYC.com. Again, pretty incredible. The people are okay. Now, turning to what's happening again at the national level, turning a spotlight on Cleveland, former First Lady Michelle Obama is teaming up with Partnership for a Healthy America and Cleveland Schools' Eric Gordon to bring 3,000 meals here to Northeast Ohio. The goal here is to end food inequity and provide equality to families across the U.S. The organization has created this initiative called Pass the Love with Waffles and Moki. Waffles and Moki is the new kids' culinary show on Netflix. It's these two Muppet characters, and they work in a grocery store. They spend their free time traveling around the world exploring everyday ingredients. The show comes from Michelle Obama's production company, Higher Ground, and there's a guest celebrity on every single episode, and on the very first episode, it's Michelle Obama. So that's your tie-in there, and that's all how that works together. Now, one of the reasons why Cleveland was selected for this initiative is, according to PHA, food insecurity in Cuyahoga County is projected to have increased about 5% from 2018 to 2020, and child poverty rates in Cleveland are among the highest in the 50 largest cities, tied with Detroit. So if you want to learn more about that, you can check that out on WKYC.com. Now, as we look at things reopening here, you might be experiencing some worry or some concern, and this is something that's being called reentry anxiety, and that's what I talk about on my podcast this week, 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney. I'm joined with Cleveland Clinic psychologist Dr. Scott B. We talk about the several things that might trigger this reentry anxiety. We talk about post-isolation anxiety, which is something typically people might experience after they've been in prison or after they've been on a military deployment. We also talk about anxiety related to crowds and being close with people, also returning back to an office after working from home for so long, and body image issues, which is another topic that I discuss in depth on the podcast in a separate issue as well, but we talk about it here too. And Dr. B gives tips to cope with each specific instance and also general tips to cope with anxiety related to coming back to how things were before the COVID-19 pandemic really changed our way of life for a lot of people. Also, each week on the show, I give you what you need to know in NEO. This is sort of a hidden gem. And this week, we're talking about Talkspace, which is a space for online therapy and a good follow. And this week, it's artist and illustrator Hannah Daisy. And the way she addresses mental health on Instagram is particularly unique. And I think that you'll enjoy adding her to your Instagram feed. So find that wherever you get your podcasts. It's 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney. Now let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers. These global and U.S. numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. Globally, we've seen 158,480,718 cases of COVID-19. And in the U.S., at 20.6% of that number, we've seen 32,722,172 cases of COVID-19. Now that's down 0.3 of a percentage point from Friday when we took a look at these numbers. The number of deaths globally now at 3,295,681. And here in the U.S., at 17.7% of those global deaths, the U.S. has recorded 581,847 COVID-19 deaths. That's down 0.1 of a percentage point from Friday. Let's take a look at the Ohio numbers for COVID-19. According to the Ohio Department of Health, we've seen 713 new reported cases of COVID in the last day. That is down from what we saw last week, but remember, we do typically see a lower number on Mondays. We've seen 87 more people hospitalized in the last day with COVID-19, and there are now 1,002 people being treated in the hospital here in Ohio. Out of those people, 302 of them are being treated in the ICU, with 18 new ICU admissions in the last 24 hours. Here in Ohio, close to 36% of Ohioans are now completely vaccinated. That's close to 4.2 million people and more than 39,000 people in the last day getting completely vaccinated. Close to 42% of Ohioans have started their COVID-19 vaccine protocol. That's close to 4.9 million people and more than 20,000 in the last day. Taking a look at more mental health discussion, Cleveland Cavaliers' Kevin Love will be speaking at the Cleveland Clinic's virtual summit this week. This is the 11th annual summit called Patient Experience, Empathy and Innovation Digital Summit. So that's Wednesday and Thursday of this week, and it will include healthcare leaders exploring pivotal patient experiences and clinical considerations. A large portion of the audience at this Patient Experience Summit will be made up of caregivers. That includes physicians and nurses who have had a tough year and are facing burnout, depression, and anxiety because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Kevin Love is a prime candidate to speak on this topic because it was back in March of 2018 that he opened up with his own battles about anxiety and depression after having had a panic attack during a Cavaliers game earlier that year. So if you'd like information on that summit, we have that on WKYC.com. More news out of the Cleveland Cavaliers organization. Assistant coach Lindsay Gottlieb has accepted a job as women's basketball head coach at the University of Southern California. The second-year assistant coach will be moving on after a brief stay here with the team. When she was hired by then Cavs head coach John Beilein, she was here after an 8-year stint as the head of women's basketball at the University of California, Berkeley. Now, when that happened, she became the first woman to become an NBA assistant coach from the collegiate ranks. Congratulations on the new position to Lindsay. We wish you well back over on the West Coast. Now, as we told you, we've been following Al Roker's fun here in Cleveland. Another person who is showing Cleveland some love is singer Macy Gray, who is from my hometown of Canton. She was born in Canton in 1967. At that time she was born, she was named Natalie Renee McIntyre. She graduated from Western Reserve Academy in Hudson, Ohio. Then she went on to USC to major in script writing. Back in Canton, she worked on her album On How Life Is, and she was talking about on the Today Show all the things she loves about Cleveland, including the sports. talking about the Tribe, the Cavs, and the Browns, and how she has a love-hate relationship with the Browns. I think a lot of us can resonate with that. We get it, Macy Gray, but things seem to be on the upswing. She also talked about her memories here in Cleveland and how legendary artists of Cleveland inspire her musically. She's talking about Nine Inch Nails, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Tracy Chapman, just giving Cleveland all the love, and we love to see it. All right, that's it for your 3 News Now update for Monday, May 10th. I'll see you next up on What's New with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for more 3 News Now. Between now and then, everyone, stay safe and be well. I'm Stephanie Haney.